Alright everyone, welcome back to another episode of Enigmatica 6. I hope everyone is doing great today. I know that I am. I am recording this before the previous episode has gone out on the YouTubes. So just to give you forewarning, if you left any comments, I have not read them yet. But I figured today we are going to take a break from ours anyway and move into something different because I want to get some stuff done and I want to have the tools to be able to do it. Now, I have spent a little bit of time. I did go down into the valley here and I started gathering some crops and also planting some more crops as well. I really want to expand out our wheat and try to get it farther up the mountain here. So I was just doing a little bit of that and just collecting some overall materials as we were down there, some crops. So, and then I was going through and I was just kind of storing some stuff, keeping everything organized for the most part in here. And then also crafting up a bunch of different food types. So we should be good to go here. The main food for you guys who were curious that I usually go to are, I think it's spaghetti with meatballs. I don't know if I have any in here. I don't think I have any in here. But that's the main one I go to. And it's pretty straightforward to make. So I just get this tomato sauce going. And then all you need to get is minced beef, which is pretty easy. What I would like to do is maybe get into some fishing. There is the upgrade aquatics in here, or sushi go as well, and I'd like to try to get into some of that relatively soon as well. But that is going to have to wait, much like a lot of other things here on the channel. It's going to have to wait. Now, the other thing I did do is actually tinker around a little bit because I thought that today we could get up and going a good system of getting up and down the mountain here because it does get very, very tedious to go back and forth all the time. Now, unfortunately, the way I wanted to go didn't really work out as planned. So, what I wanted to do, and you could kind of get a glance of what we're going to be doing today there. But what I wanted to get into was this mod called Transport. Now, there's also a other one around rails, useful rails, I think is what it's called. I can't remember offhand. But this offers a bunch of cool options for a rail system, which I know in all the mod 6, for those of you guys who watched through that playthrough should know, we wanted to get a rail system up and going, but we were already so far advanced in the game that I didn't really make sense for us to do it. But with us taking things slow within this series, I think it would make sense for us to get a rail system up and going and be able to connect some of our locations here. So we already have waystones, obviously, but it'd be really sick to have a rail system that kind of goes all the way down and follows the path of these waystones here because they're all pretty much lined up. So we could just have a nice long rail going all the way down. Also, too, we do need to keep in mind, waystones do use experience, and we don't have like a mob farm or any way of generating a ton of experience right off the bat. Again, we're taking things slow. I feel like too often, guys, I'm going to get on my rant now. I feel like too often a lot of playthrough people will go into a mod pack and it feels like they're done like super duper quick. And I get it because a lot of people like jam-packed episodes, like just jumping right into things, going through things. But I'm here about the story, right? About the struggle and the story to get through a game save. I think of like Ethos Lab. I think that's what his channel is called. He's been around for a long time, right? And he has been on specific world saves for hundreds of episodes, right? Just creating a story and kind of dragging it out, but in a good way, right? And that's what I want to try to do with this pack because I feel like there's a lot of potential here and I don't want to rush. So that's the plan. Anyway, but I wanted to do that, but I was thinking I could utilize that to help us get up and down the mountain here. But I wanted it to be more of a vertical incline right there to get us right up to that location. But unfortunately, what I wanted to use was these elevator switches, which I thought would be a vertical rail that would go straight up for us, but it's not the case. And unfortunately, there's nothing like that in the pack. Now, obviously, what we could do is we could have a rail that just kind of peaks up the mountain like so, but I don't feel like that ultimately solves what we need in terms of this back and forth. I feel like there's a better option that we could get to via maybe like create that I'd like to explore down the line. But anyways, I'm jibber jabbering and on. We're gonna have to hold off on that. Also, there's a steam locomotive in that mod, in that transport mod, and it is pretty sick. I tested it out and I'm like, this is pretty cool. So we're definitely gonna get around to that down the line. Now, what we're doing today is we're gonna get into Tinkers a little bit because I want to get specific tools going. Now, if you guys recall, we did update update to the newest version of the pack, and they did add in Tinker's Construct, but along with that, they also removed out a Hammers mod, which I was a little bit disappointed in because I was using that mod quite often to do mining and moving around and everything like that. And now, unfortunately, we don't have that capability. Now, Tinkers is not the only way to get hammers, obviously, in the pack. We could use Tetra, and we could get a hammer up and going via that path, but Tinkers also adds a bunch of other things that I would like to try to get into, and Tinkers has been updated recently, and I haven't tested out the newer updates to things, so I'm interested to see how things are within it now that it has been switcheroonied around a little bit. So as you can see, I already started down the path of getting things together. I already have some grout if you're curious on how to make grout. Pretty straightforward. I think what I'm going to have to do is go over here and change it to Tinkers. For some reason, the JEI and the crafting terminal here do not work with Tinkers. Like, I look up Tinkers and it doesn't show anything, even though there are Tinkers items within the inventory. Don't know why. Weird glitch, I guess. But it is what it is, right? So, grout. In order to get grout, I'm sure most of you guys know how to do this. So, it's going to be sand, clay, and graviles. Alternatively, you could make it more in bulk, like so. And in order to get going, you need the materials and U-book. This should come in your Astral Tome. So just take a peek in that bad boy if you want to pull it up. Or if you want to craft it, this is how you can craft it. It's just a book and a pattern, which is pretty straightforward to make. Now, I was looking through this, and unfortunately, none of these books tell you how to set up the smeltery. Which, by now, most people, I'm sure, know how to set up a smeltery. But previously, they had a book where you could actually visualize how you could make it. And it's a little bit of a bummer that it's not in here. I don't know if it's just this version. Like, I have no idea what is up, right? I don't know why. But we click through all of that. There's nothing. There is a punny smelting one as well, which I actually did craft up. The punny smelting book. And even in here, it doesn't go through anything. So I really don't know. I don't know what they were thinking with that one, but there is also the mighty smelting book. But in order to do it, you have to have a smeltery up and going anyway. So that's logical, right? I mean, hey, whatever, man. It is what it is. I'm a little bit bummed about it, but it shouldn't be too hard for us to get everything going because I do remember, for the most part, how to get everything set up. So the main thing that you're going to need are the seared bricks. These are pretty straightforward to get. You could either get it from seared stone, which, how do you get seared cobblestone? Oh, interesting. You could take molten clay and run it over that. That's interesting. If you wanted to make it like that, that's a little bit of a different path to go. Is there any other way to get that? Now I'm just curious, man. Now I'm just more so curious than anything. Okay. But the main thing you're going to want to do is get up and going the seared bricks, which is just the grout smelted up. And you're going to need a good amount of that. So we're going to request as many as we possibly can because we know that we're going to need a decent amount here. So I'm going to get a good amount going here. I don't remember the exact quantities offhand, so we'll kind of have to figure it out as we go. Again, unfortunately, they don't really help us out, and unfortunately as well, they don't have any quests around it just yet. I'm sure that in the future update, they'll probably add it in, but for the time being, they don't have anything around it. Now, there are these more advanced tools that I would eventually like to get into, which would be pretty cool to test out, like a mining drill looks pretty cool, and so on and so forth. And we might ultimately get into a mining drill. But I know this mining drill, I believe it takes, biodiesel, which we are producing a decent amount of biodiesel. But, you know, I would like to get to a better place with biodiesel and everything like that before we jump onto that bandwagon and keep going down that path. Anyway, I'm getting distracted, man. I get distracted so easily. So what? I'll grab like 18 of those. I think that should be fine for the time being. We'll bump all of those out. Yeah, as you can see, we have quite a few of them. Seared oh, that's actually pretty interesting that you could make a ladder. Anyways, I'm getting so distracted, guys. It's so easy to get distracted. There's a few other things that we're gonna need. So I think we are going to need the fuel tank, right? Which should be pretty straightforward to make. I guess I should honestly put these back in here. So there's the fuel tank. Then we keep moving along here. We have the fuel gauge, alternative smeltery heart. So if you wanted to use it differently, you could do that. You have the seared ingot tank, ideal for metals, holding 32. So we're gonna want, I don't know if we're gonna necessarily need that right off the bat. We're gonna need the controller though. We know that for sure. Oh, okay. This is quite interesting. So we're gonna need a heater. I think things are very different now. I think they're a lot different than how I remember it being when I would play through Tinkers. So I think we're gonna need that. We're gonna need the fuel tank. Holy smokes, do I know what I'm doing? Probably not. All right, guys. So I 110% have no idea what I'm ever doing. But no, I figured it out. So, in order to get it up and going, you can't start off with the base smeltery right away. And it's kind of dumb because they don't tell you that. You need to start off with this setup here. So a seared heater and a seared melter. You basically just take the heater, you put it below, put the melter above, and you can throw in up to 3 items here and have it smelt up. Now we do have 6 in there, so we're going to put 3 more in there. Just because I want to get it to 9 so I can get this out of here. But as you can see, we have crafted up. It's at max capacity here. I believe you can actually put a tank on top of it if you wanted to extend it. For us, we're just using coal to heat it, but you could use something different as well, I believe, if you wanted to. But this is the basic setup that you need to go with in order to get the ball rolling. Now, I put the seared faucet on the side here, and you just right-click it whenever you want to use it. And it just outputs into the basin here that we have. Now this basin is used for making blocks, which you can also then in turn turn into ingots. And then you have the casting table that you can utilize, which we have crafted up right here when we get into the more tools and such. So now that is the basic way to go. And honestly, you could start right there and you could be good to go for a long, long time. But we want to get into the bigger smeltery. That's what I want to be utilizing. I don't want to utilize this small boy just because you don't really get much gain from it. Like it's tiny for us, and for what I want to make, we need to have more. We need more. So in order to get the big boy, which is the smeltery controller, we do need to take a seared heater and put it in a basin and then run 4 molten copper ingots on top of it. So I got our 4 copper right here. I'm going to start throwing that in to let that go. I'm going to take our seared heater and not put it there. I grab it. There we go. Should be able to throw it right on in there, as you can see. And then we'll get our final one in there. And this should work. So it should be set up just to work perfectly fine. So we have our 4 ingots in there. If we go like that, it'll go on top of our heater, and then as you can see, we're getting some particle effects here. It is changed over, and we now have a seared controller, which is awesome. The brain of the smeltery. Now, realistically, we don't need this setup anymore. It's good to have. Don't get me wrong. If you're starting off, it's a great way to start, is to have all of that. But for us, yeah, it doesn't much matter. We are jumping right on into having a setup going for this. Now, I believe you could also use the seared ingot tank, which is good for that smelter and smelter, or the melter and heater setup. It's good for that. But for us, it doesn't really matter. So, all right. So we're going to start getting our basic setup going here. So we have the controller, we have our tank, and then we have a few here, but we're going to need a lot more of those seared bricks. And that's where one of the big kind of things come into play, is that you do need a lot of resources in order to get an actual furnace up and going here. So let's see. Do we have enough to make more? I really don't know how many more we have. We go as much as we have 11. So that should give us 11 more blocks, right? And we should have everything we need, so I don't think we need to really much worry about anything else. But we're definitely going to want to make up some more grout. I think that would be really good to get some more of that going, because more than likely we're going to extend this out. Now, it's going to be a weird mix because we're going to have the smelter where we could obviously throw in a lot of... Okay, I don't know why all that went down there. Oh, it's because... That's why. It all went down there because I already had it maxed out over here. There we go. And there we go. Plenty of grout. We'll throw all that in here and let that run through the process. Now, like I was saying, it's going to be weird because we have our crusher, and then we're going to have our arc furnace, which will process ores. But then we'll also have this, which could also do the same exact thing. So it's going to be interesting on how we ultimately kind of utilize everything together. But I'm not worried. We will definitely get there. Now, the other thing that we are going to need, now that I'm thinking about it, is actually some faucets here. We're going to need some faucets, which I don't believe we have crafted up, right? Which I thought were a thing, if I'm not mistaken, right? A drain. Yeah, we need a drain. Duct. Ooh. Copper can't use it. Smelter item, input, output. Sheared chute. Interesting. Not super familiar with those, but that's what we're going to need, is one of these. Which is pretty straightforward to get. We do need to get some more blocks going here, though. Some more bricks, and we'll throw this all like so. So we'll have 2 drains here. We're going to have one here for blocks, and then we're going to have another one here for our casting table. I think that's going to work fine. Now, I don't think you have to have it too high. I think in order to get going, you only have to have it 1 high, if I'm not mistaken. So this really should work on its own as it is right now. As you can see, we have lava in there, and realistically, it should be good to go. So if I took some of this and put it in there, it's going to get going and smelting it up, even though we don't have this full second layer going. And you can even see in there, you can see the 2 iron pieces that we had thrown in there, and now it's smelted up, so we have 2 ingots in there. Now, with the capacity we currently have, it'll hold up to 72 ingots, which is super nice compared to the melter and heater situation that we had going. But as you grow your stack even bigger, it offers a lot more potential. All right, so we're going to need 2 of those, and luckily it's crafted up enough of these bricks that we should be able to get both drains that we need. Got 1, we got 2, and then we're going to... well, we're eventually going to want some more bricks, right? And I don't know how much more we can get. 4. It's only 4 blocks. We're going to let it go for a little bit here, I guess, and we'll put this in place. All right, over we come. Throw that there. Throw that there. And then all we got to do is take our faucets here, and we'll put them just like so. So we should be good to go. This all should be set up, and now that second layer is done. So as you can see, it's now increased because we do have that second layer, which has now doubled the capacity that we can hold within it, which is super nice. I do like that. Now, the one thing that is going to be a little bit tricky to overcome is we do need to use lava on this. So we're going to want to collect some lava and bring it up here, but more than likely, we're not going to be using this all the time. All right, cool beans. So it's coming along great. I think this is looking really, really nice. I guess we could have probably bumped this one in closer and completely gotten rid of the grass around it, because it doesn't really make much sense to have the grass there. Just could have it kind of come right up to it. So we might actually do that really quick. Why not? Let's bump it up 1 and just have it be right up here. Yeah, I think that makes more sense, is to just have it go right along there than try to fit it in over here. And I should have plenty of dirt to fill that in. So there we go. Yeah, I think it works a little bit better. It makes a little bit more sense, to be completely honest. So, all right. Now, the next thing that we're going to want to probably get going here, which does it... Well, I kind of want to fill in these sides too eventually to make it a whole square rather than carved off there. Now, the sides, those corner ones, you don't have to put anything in there. Obviously, as you guys could see there, it's not necessary to do. But if you wanted to, you always could do that. So the next thing we're going to want to get up and going is a lot of the stations that we're going to need in order to get everything going. So first and foremost, we're going to need a crafting station. So we'll get one of those going. It does take a pattern. I already showed you guys patterns are pretty straightforward to make and to get going. So yeah. All right, so there is our pine log crafting station. Now, if you do want it to be a different kind than pine, you can pick whatever kind of log you want down there, it'll adjust accordingly. So next is the Tinker Station. We're going to want to get one of those. Again, pretty straightforward to do. We're also going to want a part builder, and then we're probably going to want a part chest as well. So I don't know if I want it to be, again, guys, if you don't want it to be a specific type of wood, make sure you're taking the right precautions to put in exactly what you want here. So we'll put some of these on here so we can easily get to it. Ooh, there is craftable with alloy blocks. Interesting. I'll have to, there's 2 of them. I don't know what both of them are for. But let me get some of this stuff crafted up. All right, guys, we should have everything that we need. So let's hop back on over here. I'm going to put these along the side here. Again, don't have to do this, but I think it looks a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. And if you have the resources to do it, why not go for it? So I like it to be like a big square like this. I think it looks very, very nice. So we could also even, we have 2 left, right? So why don't we put one under there? I think we can reach under there, and we'll put one there as well. So there we go. Okay, so we have everything that we need. So we have our crafting station, tinker station, part builder, and our part chest. Now, I believe the book actually runs you through in the best order to put these bad boys in, based upon how they tell you to craft them up. So you'd have the part builder, part builder, the tinker station. Yeah, okay, so let's see. So if we do, I'm going to put them all right here. So we have part builder, tinker station, crafting station, which crafting station, I don't think we really need to have. But then we'll put the part chest on here as well. So we could easily get to the parts and everything like that. And as you can see, everything connects at the top, which is really, really convenient to have. Now you put patterns in here and you can actually make different pieces parts. So we're going to get to that in just a minute here. And we'll be able to store some parts in here. But the other thing that I want to work on is being able to get a casting chest up and going. These are pretty straightforward to make. You just need some seared bricks, a chest, but the biggest thing you're going to need is a blank gold cast. Now, in order to get this, all you got to do is take 1 molten ingot of gold and put it out onto the casting table. The nice thing about Tinkers over some of the other mods, right, like our crushing or anything like that, is that you can utilize some golden items that you'll find out in the world. So for example, this golden horse armor, we can take it, smelt it up, and we will get 7 ingots from it. Whereas if you've just smelted it normally, you'd get a golden nugget, right? Like that is just a horrible return on investment. The crushing from create is pretty decent, but obviously it takes a little bit more to get there. But yeah, so golden horse armor will work. Any other armors will work as well. So that's what we're going to do here. So I'm going to throw in these boots that were pretty much dead to the world. They didn't really have much life left in them, and let them get smelted up. And I'm actually going to throw a bunch of this stuff in there and let it get smelted up. Now, the lava is going to go very, very quickly. So we're definitely going to have to get a better way of lava generation going at some point so that we can have it there. But there we go. We did get 1 nugget from that. We got a couple nuggets from that. Or ingots, I should say. I'm looking at nuggets, but I'm reading the one above it. Yeah, so 8 ingots right there, and then I'll throw in all the rest. Now, as you can see, the gold is sitting on the top, and I'm sure most of you know this for Tinkers, but for those of you who are out there who don't know how this works, when you add in melted metals, you got to be careful to make sure that you're not putting back-to-back metals that will combine into an alloy. So, for example, brass, right? If we go to brass, and you take a look at how brass is made. Now, brass is copper and zinc. So, if you were to go into smelting, which I don't actually think it shows it in here. I think you have to go to the molten brass, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, molten brass, and it'll show you here. If you have copper and zinc next to each other within the smeltery, it automatically combines to make brass. So, you're going to want to keep that in mind and keep things separate as much as possible. Now, obviously, gold and iron aren't going to mix, but we need gold on the bottom to actually extract it. So we're going to left click pulls it them down in the queue of different molten metals that you would have in there. And all we're going to do is click on that. It's going to output some of the gold into there. And there we go. We have our first blank gold cast. Now, guys, realistically, like I said, more than likely they're going to add in a quest line around Tinkers. So a lot of this stuff will probably be gone over again once that time does come. But for the time being, we don't have that, and I want to get into it, so that's why we're going to go for it. So, I don't know, how many do we have? 26. Ooh, I forgot we were requesting that golden chest plate as well. We don't need it right now, so it is fine. We're going to grab all of those, because I'm going to make a nice big setup. Now, is this still smelting up grout? It is, which is good, because I realized we still need some for that. Yep, so we'll take that out there. And we'll put that there. We'll put that there. And we should be good to go. A casting chest, which would be very, very useful for us to have down. So we can throw some of our casts in here. So I'll show you here in just a second how we get those casts up and going. Jeez Louise, we're running out of space here, man. So as you can see, it's empty, but we will utilize it here in just a minute. Running out of space so quickly. It's crazy how quickly like it just gets filled up through here. So we might even want to extend this out a little bit more, add some more dirt through here, and kind of build this out. So it's not so tight fitting through here. Do have that torch down there, but that's fine. There we go. Get a little bit more brass through there and a little bit more expansion. We might ultimately move these down the line. So what we want to do probably is get a hammer up and going, like I said. So what I'm going to do is actually throw in some of this iron so we can get some iron smelted up here. But what we're going to want to start with is actually something I don't have on hand, which is going to be some stone. We're going to need some stone, normal stone. And I am going to throw this all around here. I do need my... Because I messed up. Oh, no. Don't smelt it. Well, it smelted up that seared brick. I don't think I can break it. Yeah, it's in there now. Unfortunately. Can I grab it out, actually? I can. Cool. Okay. Whew. Good call that I can do that. Okay, so this is going to triple it, and then we'll add just a few more here on top. Obviously, we're going to have to wait until we have some more blocks. Honestly, we would have enough if we didn't have the side ones, but that's perfectly fine. And we'll kind of keep growing it as we need to. But as you can see, 216 ingot capacity now, which is crazy. We're going to throw some more iron in there as well. Oof, we're almost out of lava. All right, let me get some stuff together. All right, guys, we are good to keep moving here. Got some lava, got, I think, everything I needed. And I did get some more bricks here, so we should be able to wrap out the final layer with one extra brick to spare. Okay, it is what it is. You know what? I'll throw it right there. Why not? We'll kind of tie it in, make it look nice and pretty. But we did get a bunch of lava, so I did craft up a basic fluid tank. These things are pretty easy to make. There's some iron or aluminum and redstone to get those going. So I did get that, so we can place that down here, and then we can fill up our lava tank just like so. Cool. And I'm going to leave that there just so we have it, but as you can see, we're pretty much set. Now, we do have a bunch of iron in there, which is awesome. So we should be good to move forward. Now, we're going to want to come over to our part builder here. We're going to want to start down a path, obviously, of things that we want to make. Now, I'm going to give you an example because right off the bat, we're going to want to get a hammer. Man, that's one of the best things for us to do. Now, for us, we're going to start easy, right? We'll start with an iron one, right? An iron sledgehammer, which I don't think it's going to tell us. Whoa, you can get goldfish. You can actually get gold from it. I did not know that. Well, that's very interesting. You learn something new every day, I guess. Let's see, materials and us. Will this actually walk us through how to make specific things? If it doesn't, then I'm going to be like semi-disappointed. So there is pickaxe, yeah, sword. Why? This is so weird, man. It only goes through like such a weird amount of things, man. which I'm not like a big fan of on this. Maybe we need to get the other book in order to actually get the next stuff, like the next tier, Mighty Smelting, which is pretty easy to do. I don't know why it clicked over to that. Where did that go? Right there. So all we got to do is get a book and take a seared stone on it. Right, one seared stone ingot. So, all right, well, let's do that, and then let's wrap out the episode. We'll get the book, and then, you know what, we'll actually save the actual crafting of the tools for another episode, because we're already kind of bumped up at the edge here. So we'll grab one of those, and then I do need a book here. Grab a singular book, and we should be able to get this going. All right, so all we got to do is we got to melt this bad boy down, which shouldn't be too hard to do. Get back over to our smeltery here. We'll throw that in. Should smelt up relatively easily. Look at all these enchanted books. Maybe I'll nix this off so we don't have to be looking at that flashing at us every 2 seconds. Okay, at the top, we just left click. It brings it down to the bottom. All we're going to do is take our book, throw it in there, pour that on top of it, and it should get us what we need. There we go. You can see the animation eventually stop, which means we are good to go. So introduction. This is so weird. I don't know why it looks like... It's so weird. But here we go. We do have sledgehammers, excavators, cleavers, and scythes. So this is what we want. This is the good stuff, man. So as you can see, this is what it's going to show us for making a hammer. And it does give us that 3x3 area of effect mining, AoE mining, which is really nice. Same with the excavator, but that's going to be more for shoveling. So sand, gravel, dirt, so on and so forth will be the same thing. Cleaver, just a big sword basically. And then the scythe is it's good for shearing and hoeing dirt as well and such. So this would be pretty cool. I kind of want to get that going eventually. And then it talks through different higher end types of alloys. And this is what I was talking on a little bit before, where you can easily get things combined together. So what we're going to have to do is spend some time, look through and figure out what our best option is going to be. It does look like we can get cobalt, which I believe cobalt we can only get in the nether, if I'm not mistaken. We'll have to kind of see here. It doesn't really tell us, which is a little bit unfortunate. And I don't know if it shows in here. So if we look for cobalt, is it going to show us cobalt ore? I guess we could just find it normally, just out in the world. It doesn't say that it's spawns in overworld false, spawns in nether true. Yes, so you have to get it from the nether. So we're going to have to go to the nether, try to find some cobalt as well. But guys, with that being said, we are going to wrap up the episode there. So I hope you all enjoyed our intro into Tinkerers. I know, guys, it's nothing brand new. A little bit different path taken. A little bit weird with the books. But for those of you who are maybe new to Tinkers, hopefully it was a little bit helpful for you guys. If you did enjoy this episode, feel free to leave a like down below. Better yet, leave a comment. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns around this. Try to help you out as best as I can. If you are new here and you do want to follow along, definitely hit that subscribe button and bell notification. I'll let you know every single time a new episode is posted here on the channel. We also do have a big backlog of videos. If you're interested in catching up on anything, you can find it here on the page as well. We do stream over on Twitch, usually on Mondays and Fridays at about 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but that's always subject to change, and I usually announce those changes over on our community Discord. So if you feel like joining up over there and keeping up to date with at least the updates, both of those links for the Twitch and the Discord can be found in the description down below. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for tuning in and hanging out with me today. I appreciate it so very much. I'll catch you all in the next episode. Take it easy.